So yeah, so I guess I was just wondering a little bit more about the whole process of where you want to go with the business. You 6 years in. What's interesting about you, I think, is this, as you mentioned earlier, you are the sole owner, and you are the sole founder, right? So there's an element of, to me, that can sometimes sound quite tough as well. That's quite a lot to carry on your shoulders. Of course, at the same time, it gives you freedom. But for people that are thinking about getting a partnership versus going the way you've done, we're talking about, what advice or insights can you share with us around that?
I think it's difficult either way. For those looking at starting a business, there's a great book by Jamie Waller called Unsexy Business. And in that, he looks at different businesses who have had partnerships. Well, it's not the purpose of it. It just happens to be that these businesses in their journey, they have partnerships that cause pain points. As a sole founder, yes, it's difficult because it can be very lonely. It can be very difficult. You can feel like you're just giving and giving and giving and giving, and it's very tough. But I wouldn't do it any differently. That's not to say that I don't think that people can add value. Like one of the people in my team, who my head of content, Charlotte's been with the business for 5.5 years. She definitely plays a role in, when things are too much, kind of dissecting it and talking it through, as do other people around me. So, but I think knowing the buck stops with you. Like if you want to give someone promotion, if you want to give someone a pay rise, if you need to make them exit the business and you haven't got to have some great big consensus, it's just your decision. I think it makes it easier. And the times where the business has been pushed to the edge, maybe the business hasn't, I've been pushed to the edge, being able to make the decisions myself has made it much easier to manage and much easier to diffuse or escalate whichever is needed, rather than kind of having to get buy-in from people around me. But of course, that's because that's my experience. If I was in a business which had partners, I'd probably swear blind that was best.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had all sorts of structures and different businesses, and to be honest, there's no perfect setup.
Yeah, I think you get challenges, whatever. I mean, certainly some of the businesses that I work with that were founded, and there's, a few founders, like inevitably one of them seems to fall out and they exit. Like, I don't think there's a perfect path, whatever you choose to do. I think you have to be adaptable and be able to adapt to what's happening, and also be aware that it's not going to be a utopia. It's not going to have butterflies floating around you and little birds tweeting. It's going to be tough at times, and it's having the resilience to be able to cope with that.